Xenoclash 2 is madder than a fever dream and probably has a lot more face punching. Kicking off not long after the events of the first game, newcomers are going to find themselves perpetually baffled by the narrative, which refers to the original title quite a lot, and even for those who have experienced the first Xenoclash, it's a bizarre, somewhat muddled tale filled with pseudo-philosophical ramblings and stilted voice acting, which makes it all a wee bit hard to follow. Gat, our intrepid hero, is trying to get the gang back together, and by gang I mean his bizarre family. In an effort to save the hideous creature known as Father Mother, who kidnapped Gat and his brothers and sisters and served as the first game's antagonist, the motley crew goes up against the rules and order-obsessed tyrant the Golem. The plot is intriguing, if not particularly well constructed, but it serves as the impetus for the exploration of Xenoclash's stunning world, filled with some of the most unique creatures you're likely to come across. It's worth trudging through the less than stellar dialogue just to get to the next striking area or pugilistic confrontation. Players interact with the world primarily through punching things in the face, though guns and hammers can occasionally be used. Combos can be strung together to build up a special meter, and then you can punch things even harder, again in the face. It's simple but satisfying, with foes getting flung around, knocked off cliffs, grabbed and tossed into their allies, and multiple enemies getting swiped and knocked back from a single well-timed strike. Unfortunately, the hit detection can be a bit off, and larger battles are disorientating and can devolve into flailing limbs and shouts of frustration. Evening the odds, for Gat fights a veritable army of monstrous foes, companions can be recruited and brought into certain particularly difficult battles. Sometimes they hinder as much as help, however, as they can harm Gat if he gets too close to them in a scrap. Squeaks, grunts, and all too quiet threats and shouting punctuate fights, and the music frames moments of conflicts well, with urgent beats getting the blood pumping. Outside of battle it's dreamlike and alien, adding to the already eerie and unnatural appearance of the world. While it's certainly more than merely serviceable, the audio is overshadowed by the title's awe-inspiring landscapes. Although the graphical fidelity of Xenoclash 2 does leave a lot to be desired, it's still a visual delight. The freakish yet arresting environments and character models defy comparison with anything else other than the first game, and the eccentricities have definitely been increased for this outing. It's a shame then that the open world is really just an illusion, because it's a place ripe for exploration. Though it's certainly not as narrow as its predecessor, it's still a linear experience with only a few reasons, like looking for chests and butterflies, to go off the beaten track. Obstinate quest markers and an annoying map don't exactly make the limited exploration a pleasure either. Xenoclash 2 is a more ambitious, deeper experience than its forebearer, and those who enjoyed the original will find a lot to love here. It's impressive with its compelling combat and unique setting, but it's ultimately flawed. It fails to feel cohesive, dialogue is a chore to get through, and the incredible world soon reveals itself to be far too limited, essentially just an arena to fight in, and one suffocated by walls and crippled by a terrible map. For more information, check out the full review on Destructoid.com.